124. Facebook UTV 124. Instagram UTV 124. Twitch UTV 124. TikTok UTV_124. And Flow TV channel 124. Remember, UTV TV for you.
I can't stay.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is August 17th, 2021. It is Tuesday. And as always, you are watching the morning show with me, Tresha Lionel. I appreciate it every single day that you are tuned in, logged in, listening, watching, or wherever and whatever you're doing. It's very, very appreciated. For those of you tuned in on our radio station partner, that's Hits FM 92.1 and 91.1 FM. Good morning to you. Also, if you are watching us on television on channel 124 on Flow, that's underground television, that's where it's at, UTV, thanks again. And of course, if you are watching us on the different social media platforms where we stream every weekday from 11 with this show, thanks for staying with us. Thanks for always being with us. And I hope you guys are having a good one so far. Now, before we say anything else, I know that this right now is the session of Parliament going on, and I'm sure it's going to be interesting. And for those of us curious to see, what that's going to look like, I think, it'll give us some things to speak about. But in the meantime, we are here today, as always, looking, seeking truth and saying it the way it is. Now, we have had a few adventures. We've had a few adventures on the show, and we've done different things, like go to different spots, and we've advocated in different ways that we thought needed it, from the PTOs and everything else. And I think the first major one for me, because when you think something is wrong, I know what it's like to go in the streets and do something. I've done it in Manchester, I've done it in Italy, and whatever. But I find it very strange to do hair, because people know you, and people can get very in your one. How to say it? I don't know how to say it exactly. There's not a word with the nuance that I want to get yet. But one of the major things was Cabot, and it will continue. We will have to continue to look at it, especially when we're getting new updates for the things that are happening there and how some people are completely being dismissed by the developers there. But before we do that, let's start from the beginning.
He has rebuked those whom he says are discouraging the foreign investors through what he describes as anti-foreign rhetoric.
It is so anti-foreign investment in this country, whether it be Cabot, whether it be a person who bought land to build a house, Ojo Labs, DSH. While it's okay to question the government's policy and strategy, but to transfer any of those concerns to individuals, corporations, or individuals is very worrisome.
How can you trust the government that is taking a lady called Marjorie, who has built her business from scratch? And when she said, I had assisted her, I had even forgotten that. Because you see, I am a servant of the people. I claim nothing. I had forgotten that, my brothers and sisters. I'd already forgotten that, because I don't have to boast, I don't have to make noise, I don't have to posture. I'm a real man. You see how I look? I don't have to boast. Marjorie set up a business. She nurtured it. A government of the St. Lucia Labour Party would say to any investor, you have to work with Marjorie for Marjorie to survive.
Ça c'est une opinion. Ça c'est une opinion.
Ça m'a regardé, considéré
considérer ça qui a fait avant. Expressement les mini pour terre lisse. Et comment ça l'année expressement la vie fort par boss side coconut bay là. Tout c'était ça même tennis pour combien l'année. Et puis c'était ça juste maui. Mon développement pas fait n'importe mon gars vrai. Attends ça lui là nous tout calé différentes choses qu'a fait dans la terre. Expressement Covid. Et nous voulons catcher la boîte différents bail, les venir pour security pour payer nous. Est-ce que still right pour temps ça pour gouvernement still qu'a considérer by a company d'or autant temps qu'on 75 years pour lister.
Quand changer compagnie a faire un investissement avec l'achat en business là, yo pour prendre moitié l'argent yo, deuxièmement une chance pour faire un profit. So ça c'est en considération. Bon, c'est pas moi qui caille d'où c'est 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. Like, yo demandé pour ça yo venez. Bon,
Exodus by you.
non, ça va pas. Yo demandé pour 99 years, yo nous pas là 99 years, so by 75.
Oh, it was 75 years. No, 99 years. It's not me, it's technocrat. All kind of nonsense.
I will not call Cabot an investor. I will not call Ojo Labs an investor. I will not call Chiwaki an investor because all you have done
But I call them
is take it. Yeah, but they are leeches, Spider. Spider, none of those people can finish anything. You have taken the resources of the poor people of this country and given to those foreigners.
Come off it. That kind of rhetoric to mislead people of the
Spider, what do you want to
that's an investment made by Cabot and a business decision made by the NIC. And if the NIC, if the board and everybody else in the NIC feel that it's a justified thing, and when it is explained, in my opinion, it's a justified investment.
We will ask Cabot if we can allow people to drive to the beach. My goodness gracious.
I was told that there is pedestrian access according to the plans in planning, that there was a provision for pedestrian access to the beaches. I made a request, and it is a request because you cannot force the owner of the land to give you vehicular access when, according to the plans, it is pedestrian access. I am saying, I'm appealing to Cabot to be a good corporate citizen and grant us vehicular access.
Cabot coming without a cent. We lend them our money to buy land in our country. Now the government has to appeal to Cabot.
You say Cabot has money, lots of money, but you must still give them your NIC funds. And listen to the excuse. Oh, if the project fails, the people have the land. But the land belongs to St. Lucia anyhow. How can you give people back what's theirs? It's our land.
Cabot executives have assured public access to the 3 beaches bordering their proposed golf course and private residencies. Cabot escorts and golf carts will be provided to usher locals along new access points to get to the beaches. Rehani Isidore has more.
Cabot Link's executives recently briefed the Cap Estate Residents Association on what to expect during the project's construction phases. Cap Estate residents also got the opportunity to address their concerns. Beach access was a key issue, despite Cabot's repeated assurances to preserve public access.
All developers must provide access to all beaches, and what I've described as to how that will be done has been accepted and fits within the law.
Casabah Beach, Donkey Beach and Secret Beach will be enveloped in Cabot's plan to build a world-class golf course, resorts and private residences on more than 340 acres. The old way of getting to those beaches will change. Cabot CEO Christine Thompson, equipped with visuals of the new beach access points for locals, says the company will incur the expenses to cut new roads and even install new amenities.
This piece of land is because we attempted to try and acquire or get the government to try and acquire some of these lands to relocate Marjorie's restaurant, etc. But these are all privately held. That did not work out. And this piece of land here, which is labeled lot 235, is crown land. So this piece is owned by the government. And the plan is that we would build Cabot at its expense, would build a road, a new road. We brought the MP for the area, the Ministry of Physical Planning down here, and they very much liked the plan. So they're in the process of taking that back to Cabinet for approval. So we, Cabot, would sort of build these facilities. And Marjorie and the sort of road to the beach would be replaced by this access and this plan.
The land earmarked for Cabot's sprawling project has been privately owned for decades. Despite previous attempts to build hotels in that area, the land has largely remained untouched. That was until last December, when Cabot unleashed their bulldozers to prep the land for construction. Public access to Donkey Beach and Secret Beach, although assured by Cabot, will however be impeded by hotels and exclusive condos. The alternative? Supervised escorts for locals.
If you enter through the area where the crown lands are that you're building the facilities, can you from there walk into the property and get to Donkey Beach is what I'm trying to understand.
No, you can't, because the resort sort of is obviously not on Queen's Chain, but the secure resort sort of starts behind that. So that would be walking over people's private property. So no, you can't do that. You can walk all along Kazamba Beach and you can be escorted to Donkey Beach or Secret Beach. But you cannot walk from Kazamba along the coast to Donkey and Secret Beach.
Save for the guided escort, several other hotels on island built on beachfront property have similar public access arrangements.
We need to be escorted. Like, what are we, criminals?
So in all of that, we're seeing where we are with Cabot, the things that we have sacrificed from our land, our own money, our dignity, I think, given to Cabot. And when you have a representative saying, my hands are tied, saying that, there's nothing that they could do and they think it's a great investment. Again, we spoke about this yesterday. And if we can continue the whole week, whole rest of the year talking about these sort of investments where we don't have any stake in anything, we don't get anything from these supposed foreign investors, and it continues. So when they're saying that we have access, and you're saying that people, you can take a golf cart and they can escort you to the beach, does that really seem like access to you? And all of what we've heard, all of what we've seen with our own monies being invested in this, a loan taken from our NIC money given to a company that's supposed to have money. Now, in all of that, it just doesn't seem like it's lessening at all, because we're just seeing Cabot going straight ahead. And again, I look forward to what this new administration is going to be doing with that, because we're seeing some liberties being taken by this developer, by Cabot, and there's no sort of explanation for it. And I remember distinctly too, there was a time when reporters wanted to speak to Cabot representatives. Ekfedea had purportedly said, that's not the time for that, and he doesn't think that they should be answering any questions. If you have any questions, ask Fede about Cabot. When the people do ask Fede about Cabot, he's then saying he's not equipped to deal with these answers, equipped to deal with these questions. So for now, I think, like many other people, we want to see transparency, we want to see accountability. And with this next image there, where we're seeing Cabot taking more liberties, as if they get enough land that's already there, they're creating more land into the sea. Let's take a look at what is going on as we speak in that development there. You can see some of the things being done, these constructions being done. Let's go to the next one. And people backfilling and trying to get the land into the sea. Let's go to the next so that people can really see what's going on there, St. Lucia. Already we're giving vast amounts of land, and Cabot still feels a need to do what they're doing there and trying to make some land right into the sea. Of course, we know of the environmental impact. We have seen what has happened to our artifacts and, the things that are supposed to be ours. Is that all? And again, just all of that land being taken there by Cabot. And we can speak of all of the different things. And I don't know, for some people, maybe you feel very far removed when people talk about the environmental impact. Maybe you don't feel it when people say there are artifacts there and we should not just, people just dig things and destroy our history. Maybe you don't feel that. Maybe it doesn't connect to you. maybe the money that you think, your money that is being paid to make people richer. I don't know how it doesn't appeal to you too, but some people it just seems not to strike any chord with them. But for me personally, what stuck with me is this lady on the beach, and we've spoken about her before, Marjorie Lambert, and she of course has a restaurant there. She's had it there for 30 years. We've heard the story of her starting off with her little cooler and everything, and then, you know, if anybody's an actual businessman, per se, Johnny come lately, I just got fair bagay when they party in power just to make money, but you actually have a dream, you actually start from something and you watch it grow in a legitimate way. But for those of you who understand, you must feel for a lady who has worked all her years, 30 years, and now that she cannot see and she's blind, so we rest coy. That's when she has to fight even harder for her business. And we've seen so many of the things of her being affected, people trying to push her down the beach and to kind of swampy land and everything, and she's saying she doesn't want that. If we remember too, people came to her with a specific number for what they think she was worth, and she said that she would not take that. But now it continues even more. That Marjorie Lambert, who has had to fight for her business in all of this Cabot development, continues to fight a year on. Let's take a look at the latest thing that she's going through now with this Cabot development.
Well, the thing is that we never see that, because I remember rain falling, having bad weather, rain falling, and we never experienced. In front of me, I have so much mud, I cannot even pass insurance on my business. In the road, full of water, and the water staying in the road. And then the water is running inside of my business. In front of the restaurant, in the entrance, and in front of the restaurant itself. Matter of fact, water is running every day. So I don't know if it is a pond they have there, and the pond burst, or what happened, but all the water is running in front of my place. And it's very bad, because if somebody has to come inside, they have to pass at the front of the beach, right at the front, to come by my place. So I believe that is too much.
Do you think it has affected business?
Yes, because if somebody has to come this and to reach by my place, they will turn back and they will go back. They will not come.
And what?
Well, I told that Cabot man, the mister, well, and I told him about it, one of them. They said they would have sent somebody to come and look at it. Up to now, I don't see nobody. So that's why I decided of calling you and let you know what is going on with my place. Because I believe that is unfair. If somebody has to come and buy a little something, they cannot even come. And you have to see the amount of water in the road and in front of the house, the entrance to the business, and inside of the business.
So Cabot is working and doing what they're doing, and once more, this lady who's had to deal with a lot, dealing with Cabot and everything else, now has to deal with mud. Now, I want you to understand the concept. There is mud on a beach. So it must be coming from somewhere. And with the work that the Cabot developers, that they're doing, whatever they're working on, when it rains, it comes down to Marjorie. And when I went there, the video footage that you saw there, it was a sunny day. So, and it was still that messy. So you can imagine when it rains and she says that all the mud gets to her kitchen floor and you cannot pass through it and vehicles stick in it and all of these things that are happening, it's not right. When she says to me that Cabot people, she called them on day before yesterday and they said they would come to her the same day. They haven't. They didn't yesterday. They didn't the day before yesterday. They didn't do it yesterday, and they haven't as of right now. So for me, it's the continued disrespect, and there's nobody to defend her. The people that you had there, like Spider, Spider is saying, like, you know, it's just what has to happen. You cannot tell the people what to do because it's their land. We are giving away everything, and if this doesn't somehow make you feel anything. When a woman is in her latter years, you know, trying to relax or pass away, whatever, toute la vie, you still have to fight with this multi-million-dollar company that this former administration clearly has given preferential treatment to. So another part of it is, and I don't think we've seen that either, Marjorie restaurant, her employees speaking out, and I know it had to be, you know, something of a dire situation for them to do so, because they've let her speak, but the time has come for them at least, and some people are, because they were saying they're shy and they didn't know what to say, but it means something, I think, when they decided to, you know, be brave enough, brave my equipment, and speak to you and tell you how they really feel.
I want to keep my job, so she have to stay there for me to be in a job. Yeah, they took a couple hours off.
Can I get your name?
Sophia Pupu.
And just tell me how you feel about everything going on
I'm
there.
not feeling good about it, because you can see it's really muddy out there, and it's a problem for her to come. She's blind, she's a blind lady. You see, you can put somebody there like that? No way. We'll fight for her.
I'm trying to support her about the problem with the drain running down on the beach. But from the time I started working there for 14 years, I suspect the river at the back, I suspect they burst it, and all the water flow on the other side is running down at the front of her business. So right about now, it's a complaint for her. She cannot enter, she have to do the other road. So anytime you drive, you're going to be stuck at the front.
Has that happened before? To get stuck in the mud?
No, never. So as it bursts on the other side, the water is running down to the beach, and it's not looking nice. You understand? So we need help about the situation.
Have they spoken to you, Cabot? That's the Cabot people?
Yes, that's the Cabot people. They spoke to her about it, so they tell her about they go to come and check it out.
Okay, when was that?
That was yesterday. Yes, and she really don't like it. It looks very messy.
Yeah.
Because this morning while we entering, I'm telling her, well, Auntie Marge, we could not drive through in the entrance. We had to make the wrong. You understand? Because I tell her that people are going to get stuck inside there. Yeah, we had to make the wrong, and I had to walk her through. She cannot even walk there.
Maybe I'll talk to her maybe tomorrow when I do get in contact with her. But how has she been feeling? Because you know, you start off something 30 years, and now you get all that kind of.
She don't like it. She's not pleased with it anymore.
And I think we've come to a point where you can see that it's clearly disrespect. Disrespect when people can come to a blind woman and write a figure on a paper for what they think her business will be worth. And when Marjorie says that she doesn't want it, she will not take it, and she'll bring it to a lawyer, they say, no, don't bring it. How can you tell a blind person to not bring the figure that you've written down for her to her lawyer? I think from the very beginning there's been a sort of disrespect and dismissal of Marjorie, because I would think that, okay, you're doing this development, why are you so averse to her becoming part of it, to, you know, integrating her within this project? There has been every attempt to chase Marjorie away from where she has been for the past 30 years, and this past administration has done nothing to protect her. But you know who has? I think St. Lucians really did show up, and I think many people were proud in a sense that, you know, just last year, in fact this day last year, was the protest at Marjorie. And for the many people who saw this injustice and decided to do something about it, I want to say thank you. And it really does say something that even a year on to the day, Cabot is not, they are letting go of anything. They continue to disrespect this lady, and she has continued to fight. So I want us to remember what it really means and what it meant for us to come together, because I can tell you, she spoke with me that sometime last year about her, you know, not knowing what to do and her giving up, and you don't have the money for the lawyer's fees and everything else. But people saw what was happening there. We saw what was happening there. You saw what was happening there. And I want you to remember that, that happened last year, which doesn't seem so long ago. It doesn't seem so long ago, but hey, take a look.
On Sunday, scores of St. Lucians made their way to Cabot Beach to stand in solidarity with Marjorie Lambert, a local businesswoman who stands to be displaced by the ongoing Cabot Point golf and real estate development. Lambert, the owner of a popular beach bar, was overwhelmed by the show of support.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. So many people all over St. Lucia. I'm so happy. It brings tears to my eyes, but that tears is happiness.
Sunday's event initially began as what appeared to be a quiet day at the beach, an activity where people could socialize while patronizing the owner of a small business. However, the entire pace and atmosphere of the activity abruptly changed when the following announcement was made.
If you cannot see the erosion of civil liberties and our democracy right now, if you don't recognize it for what it is, you will never recognize it again. I have been asked to stop the music. We can no longer stay here and patronize the bar. We can do nothing. We cannot do anything because we have no permission.
This was met with strong opposition from the crowd, who quickly grew infuriated. At about the same time the declaration was made, dozens of placards bearing various messages suddenly became visible.
We are not going nowhere. That shit got we are not going nowhere. We're fighting us. We are not going nowhere. That's nonsense. We're not going nowhere. That is our beach.
A number of individuals subsequently descended upon officers of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force who were seated in a police vehicle just yards away from the music truck. Members of the media attempted to question a senior law enforcement officer about the instructions which were given.
Why stop the music, sir? They are only for instruction.
We do not have a loud music.
So don't be hard on them.
We don't have a loud music?
Yeah, but it's not him.
So, sir, why only now? The music has been on for quite a while.
You come from?
Can we be allowed to continue the music?
So don't be rough on the police.
Could they continue in the absence of the music? Okay, so we've gotten confirmation from the police that they would be able to continue the activities if the music is turned off. Individuals involved in the organization of Sunday's activities have indicated that an application for a loud music permit was not made, as they did not believe that one would be granted. Several of those present were critical of the directives which were given by members of the police.
Shasney is out of place to send this police here to talk foolishness to people.
Why are you singling out Prime Minister Alan Shasney though in this instance? Because he's not actually here. We're not seeing him giving any instructions.
The buck stops with the boss. In any administration, the buck stops with the boss. Shasney has to take a hold of his government and do the right thing. And he has to remember the oath of government that he took when he became Prime Minister.
Following the instructions from the police, the music from the loudspeakers did come to an end. However, the revelry continued, accompanied by music supplied by a private vehicle. Dozens of those present seized the opportunity to make a pointed political statement.
He has to go. That guy has to go. That can't happen here. Shasney must go. Shasney, ring the bell. Shasney, ring the bell. Shasney, ring the bell. We can't take it anymore. We just cannot take it anymore. Shasney must go. Shasney must go.
No bitches, man. I'm everywhere, anytime. No matter what you say, I can be anywhere. Nah, bitches, man. I can be anytime.
It's back to what he said. I can best anyway. Why?
For Choice News Now, Amani Mathur reporting.
1 year later, Marjorie Lambert continues to operate her business from Cabot Beach. While initial construction is currently underway for the Cabot Golf and Real Estate project, there is still uncertainty regarding the future of Marjorie's operations. And there is, like I told you, a lot of uncertainty that Miss Marjorie is facing and she's dealing with. But when you look back on that video, I think, you know, it really does show that when people come together and you're of one accord and you believe in something, and at that time, and I think still, there is a belief that what's going on there with this lady is an injustice that people should not stand for. So now that Shas is gone and there is a new administration, we continue to look forward to what can be done to rectify that situation and how this lady can be put to ease. Imagine all of this time working on something and now you still have to keep fighting, and we will do that with her. But as we end this segment, she wanted to let you guys know how she's feeling about everything 1 year later since the protest on the beach, since people came there, dozens of people came there to patronize the bar and everything, to assist her with the fees and legal fees and everything else. This is what she had to say to you.
Protest that happened at my place there, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I will say the people of St. Lucia, I love them, and they are standing strong with the people when they see things is going wrong. So I'm thanking everyone at that protest. One day when all that COVID go, we have to bring these people back to that place, because that was the best thing ever. And everybody was surprised. Everybody overseas, my family's friends, they call me and they tell me, well, the people of St. Lucia is putting their head together. And I will thank everyone. And each time I'm playing it over and over. And Gabby from Barbados, they always sending message, calling me. You know, that giving me more strength, and he tells Marjorie anytime I will come to St. Lucia. And we're going to have the same thing on the beach again. You know, I'm so happy that people stand behind me. And I will say praise the Lord. And I'll say thanks for Tresha, Christopher, Richard, our Prime Minister, and all the rest. Yadi, if I don't mention Yadi and Jaim, they will not like that. All of them, and all the people that come and support me, all of them, from Babylon to Sufre, the whole of St. Lucia come out. They barra everywhere. So I'll say thank God. There is people, love people in St. Lucia. You can say it is one love, like one Mali. So thank you all so much, Tresha. And you know, sometimes when I look at it, I hear the video, playing on the beach is mine, tears is running. And that day, I cried so much. I cried. People don't know how happy I was. The amount of people that came to me, Tresha, when you tell me, Margie, you know, a lot of people will come to you, come outside, I was right in the corner. And then when I see people upon people coming to me, I say, oh my God, God is sending a blessing on that beach. And the people hearing the cry, they hearing my voice, you know how suffer, and people make me suffer down there. Up to now, up a day of today, I'm suffering.
I can't stay.
UTV.
I know you
got it. If you identify with the most pulsating, the most riveting, the most eye-capturing UTV. To advertise with UTV, dial 484-7588 or 572-7588. For some of the most competitive rates, amazing programming, and bang for your buck. The most popular streaming channel, UTV 124 on Facebook. Get it now. Check us out on Instagram at UTV 124. Email us utvslu@gmail.com. UTV. It's not just for me. It's definitely TV for you.
Because of how quickly the coronavirus spreads, each new case calls for increased public vigilance. Know what is happening, understand why, and comply. Think of the protocols as war tactics. Personal protection tactics. Keep 6 feet away from others. Avoid riding the bus, gathering on beaches, in bars, and shops. Public protection tactics. Quarantine yourself if you feel fluish in case you have been exposed. Call 311 or a respiratory clinic for advice. Country tactics: partial lockdown. Supermarkets, small grocers, pharmacies and ATMs are accessible before curfew. Total lockdown: everywhere stays closed 24/7 for a stipulated period. Team tactics: don't only follow the protocols, be a protocols police. Let's win this.
Together let us win this war. Say you shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Hi there, everyone. This is
exclusive hot.
You're watching UTV TV for you.
I can't stay.
Welcome back. So if you haven't heard yet, this is the big issue happening now, where you're seeing some construction being done on the Gros Islet beachfront, right there by Seaview Bar. Okay, we're going to get into it. We'll start here. Let's take a look at the image. Ooh, okay, so some people were concerned about some of the works being done there, and we got a lot of posts, pictures and everything else that people put out. So let's take a look at that. If we can get it a bit closer. It says here, you complained about FFFs having too much power in St. Lucia, but there is a new form of FFFs under the SLP. The Cherokees, who are major donors to the SLP, with SLP in power, they do not just have the money, they think they also have the right to do whatever they damn well please in St. Lucia. Look at what is happening at the beach in Gros Islet. Larry Cherokee is building a structure without planning approval and without the knowledge of the Gros Islet Town Council. Let's see what Kenson Casimir is going to do about this. And then they post the picture with the Cherokee and Kenson Casimir. But before we continue, before we do anything else, let us just come off right there and then and be honest about it. Business people give to both sides. The same way Sandals will give, the same way different business people will give. Cherokee and a lot of them will do the same thing. So United Workers Party, don't pretend politics. So now that the shoes on the other foot, now you get some United Workers Party people, still clearly Arara, will say certain things that of course have no basis in truth. So I think in trying to get some answers myself, I went there and I didn't get much. People didn't want to speak at the time, and I was around, I think, 12:30, right after the show. We went on the scene there and I couldn't get clear confirmation of what was going on, what exactly was going on, but what I did get, I wanted you to see. So we can go there. I'm good. I was just wondering what exactly is being built there.
Well, for now there is information is confidential, so I don't want to share anything about it. So I'm able to do some kind of business because, as I tell you, this information is confidential. Okay?
Thank you.
Trisha?
So the man working there, contractor who did not want his face to be seen, wouldn't say anything much except to say that everything there, he won't comment on anything. So as I was there too, I saw some people working, taking some measurements, writing by a matchy bagay. So I was like, what exactly is going on? And still, not much is being said, but I just want you to know that there was different officials there from Ministry of Physical Planning. They were there to investigate what exactly was going on. And though they didn't speak much, they did tell me this. What exactly is going on here?
Well, I can tell you, I can't see nothing.
You can't tell me? What exactly is going on here?
We are government employees and we're unable to give interviews. What you can do is to call the ministry after we've given them the report.
Oh, so it's a report?
We're looking to do an investigation.
An investigation on what exactly? And that's from what ministry? Physical Development. Can that happen though? Can this happen? Thank you very much. So they were there on their investigations. That's the people from Ministry of Physical Planning. And that was at around 12. Now, in all of this time, I think that's what has to happen. People see something happening, it's brought to the authorities, they come to see what exactly is going on. And for me, that's the way it's supposed to work, because in the very recent past, what I did get what I and some other of the reporters, when they did speak with, some officials, like maybe the DCA chair, I remember that, about what was going on with the PTOs. People were just giving you the runaround. And I understand too, when this lady said she's a public servant, she cannot give any interviews, but she did tell me what she could have, and I respected that. But I also remember seeing something that was not approved by the DCA being crossed off by the chairman and saying approved. And, that sort of, that lack of due diligence, clearly, and due process, I thank God I don't think you should ever get used to that. So when you're seeing people actually doing the work, I awaited to see what would be happening with that. And in all that time, there were the people who would continue to make this, you don't even call that politics, I think it's something else. I think it really is a different way of doing things, and I don't think, and we have to brace ourselves, so I've had to brace myself, and I'm still trying to deal with people like Minerva Ward and the other Sahats who will look and try to clamor to find something to say, to create some movement against government, even when the United Workers' Party created the mess that they're in. Let's take a look at Minerva Ward and the others. With all of that happening, let's take a look at where their minds were at and what they were going for. With the next image, it says here, so this is what is being done, of course, on the CAPS thing. It says, so this is what is being constructed on the waterfront in Gros Islet. Minerva Ward posts on Citizens for Accountability and Progress. The deck across the street is what is currently under construction without DCA approval. And why is a 4-story structure and the deck on the beach being allowed on Bay Street in Gros Islet? Where is NBC's senior chief investigative reporter and the bureau chief when you need him? Where are the Choice News reporters? Where the heck is the district representative Kenson, Bebe, Casimir, and all of this? Let's go to the next one, because that's Minerva Ward. If you can't have Minerva without Paul. Paul Ward says, Jack don't want me to be on my beach. We need the people protesting at Casabah by Marjorie and the St. Lucia National Trust to join us in protest against this monstrosity. Why is this construction allowed on Larry Cherokee property? It is obvious that this property is being constructed on Crown land. Does it have DCA approval? When I posted the photo of Pip, Baby, and King at the party with Cherokee, y'all wanted to take down the photo and ask them to sue me. What now? It's like we don't remember too when there was the Cherokee party and Herman Gill was there having a good time in the middle of COVID. Zote Oblieta too. Let's go to the next one. Renee Prudent, the highway to gated communities and resorts. They say that the people like me should keep quiet, but this morning not even they have the intestinal fortitude to speak out or even ask questions about what appears to be a bold encroachment on their own patrimony. What's going on at the Gros Islet Bay is unprecedented. We've had a long history of full access to the bay for decades unending. Our great-grandparents and grandparents, our parents, including our generation, and now our children have some fond memories of freedom on those shores. However, this morning it appears that all of this may be changing. Who gave permission for this project? And is our government on board with it or even aware of it? Do we still operate in a society where local government, planning, and other authorities play a major role, or have we descended into a lawless society where the rule of law and blatant disregard, blah, 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 blah. So that's Rennie, the prudent guy, another sort. So everybody is now up in arms talking of patrimony and everything of that sort. We can put it down now. I can tell, if you can't, I definitely can, the hypocrisy of all of this. I think the DC and the other authorities that came there to investigate what was going on, it does say a lot, because we have been in the habit of things happening on the Petors, or what's happening in Cabot, or what's happening in Viewfort, and all of the other things where we haven't heard anybody speak of patrimony. In fact, we heard people say, you guys are hypocrites and you're against investment and all of that. And today, you will get people using the same words, even though it's weightless when they say it, because I know you don't believe it. They're looking for some sort of, I don't know, togetherness with their people. So they're asking Kenson Casimir to respond, and he did. So this is what he had to say. Let's take a look at that as well. Kenson Casimir says approval was granted for a proposed residential building on Bay Street on March 19th, 2021. That's right before elections. That's the United Workers' Party administration. Under that's when it happened. A few months before I was elected as a parliamentary representative. The matter is in the hands of the DCA and relevant authorities, and as MP for Gros Islet, I look forward to doing my part in ensuring that there is proper development along the Gros Islet waterfront. So right there we can see, if you could zoom in into that as well, you see the March 19th stamp on there with the application for the proposed residential building has been reviewed, and it was given the go-ahead. So this was done under the United Workers' Party. I know these people are disingenuous and they don't believe in the things they say, but it takes a different meaning when United Workers' Party will create the mess, but they will call on different people like Kenson Casimir, like, what are you doing? And different people, what are you guys doing? Create the mess and then try to force people, expedite it, let people find a way to fix it with all of this fake outrage. I think it's going to be something that we have to get used to, that this is only the very, very beginning. But this is what happens, because right after that, the DCA, there was placed an order on a cease and desist where this could not continue. And I think this is what you need. So right now, no work can continue. This is continuing to be investigated. And I think that's the real way, the proper way things have to be done. But even in all of that, Minerva Ward will continue. I had to put it out there. We'll take your calls in just a minute, but I just wanted you to see for yourself what we're going to be dealing with in the years, I think, to come. Let's take a look at the Minerva's response to Kenson Casimir there, I think was really, really interesting. It says, again, Minerva in a call after Kenson saying, Kenson Casimir, was approval granted for construction on the beach? That is a question. And why is it that this person feels so emboldened to all of a sudden build on the beach without DCA approval? Did they have a conversation with you about construction on the beach? We'll take your calls right now at 572-7588 and also at 484-7588. When Minerva Ward will ask why people feel emboldened, I have to say maybe certain people feel emboldened. Everyone must see what you guys have done, where you can build on the Petors and even when it's not approved, have it scratched out, crossed out, and then write approved on it. People can see that with all of the misgivings solutions have had on what's happening with Cabot, what's happening on the land, the architectural problems there, the environmental problems, our artifacts that we are destroying, you know, it continues anyway. I think people are emboldened by that, especially the foreigners that we have coming in here. I think for me, it's a new day where you have to really be prepared, brace yourself, stand up straight, steel your nerves against people who continue to do things like that. So when Renee, when Prudence and Minerva and the rest of them come together on these baseless accusations, when we are seeing what process is supposed to look like, these ministry officials that I spoke with, even though they didn't speak to me well, they're supposed to be there doing their work and investigating. There is supposed to be a cease and desist on what was going on there, and the investigation has to continue. So of course, let us all make sure that we keep these people into account, but let us not forget that this was done under a United Workers Party administration, and now Minerva and a lot of them, the continued cohorts, will play like, you know, they need some answers, they need that sort of thing. And I took particular offense to what was being said about let's do like what they did on Marjorie and protest. I think it is an insult to people who actually do believe in this country, who actually do love their country, and want to take steps in doing things like, you know, you're doing a protest, a peaceful protest, things that we have seen done. And we just saw it there the one year ago to the day on Marjorie. But when people are sitting there trying to find a way to make themselves relevant, just trying to find a way to put their party back in power, not even, you know, a month after you guys lost, there's been no reflection on anything, no accountability, no responsibility taken for the things that you have done to this country, none at all. In fact, the leader of your party continues to say that it is his own class that turned against him. There is still not even a way of bringing people together, because you have never believed in that. This has always been about division. And I'm telling you, they will continue, but we have to brace ourselves for what is to come. Let's take our first call. Good morning.
Good morning, Tresha.
Good morning, sir.
So, Tresha, you know, you out, and you know, which is excellent stuff. Why we must ensure that we protect our democracy at all costs. Because people like Minerva Ward, Paul Ward, well, who's the same Minerva Ward? Rennie Prudent, and you know, and this Rennie Prudent guy, I mean, you know, that guy is beyond belief. I mean, Rennie Prudent joining the bandwagon in asking Kenson Kazim, the newly elected representative for Gros Islet, what he's doing about what is going on, when that thing had been happening right under their noses for months. You know, Tresha, look, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I mean, this thing is not to defend parties in power. What we need to do for the sake of our democracy, and whether you support a particular party or not, that is not the issue. The issue is we've got to protect our democracy. And we need to, I mean, whichever government is in power, we need to keep the government on its toes. So now that the Labour Party is in office, we've got to ensure, for the sake of this democracy, which was almost destroyed under the former United Workers Party government, we've got to ensure that this current SLP government dots its I's and crosses its T's on everything for everything, in a spirit, in an environment, an atmosphere of transparency and accountability, so everybody can see, everybody can know, everybody is informed of what's happening, you know, at regular intervals. That is one of the ways that we can protect our democracy, and as many of us as possible must get involved. I mean, whether it be the ordinary man on the street, whether it be journalists, whether it be, you know, people like, you know, myself who take an avid interest in what's happening in the country. We have this government on its toes so that we are protected, or at least we can attempt to protect ourselves from what went. So what happened under the former administration, so that we don't even get a whiff of that sort of thing in future governments. Thanks, Tresha.
Thank you very much, caller. And I think too, it also gives rise to different issues that I think we have to explore, like, you know, what's supposed to be no-build zones. You know, if you're going to talk about that, sure. But this continued politicization of issues, of real serious things happening, and you just want to blame somebody, you're doing all of that. You're doing all of that. We thought you come from Canada, you come down, you're still there trying to make a name for yourself by doing this. See, I won't lie to you. I look at that and I wonder, you know, will I be able to do this for an indefinite period of time? Because to stay there and lie and try to find a way to do things. And it's also showing us too, it's almost a Republican way of doing things, like what happened in the States. People don't care what is true, what is not true. They will create the mess, and when there is a new administration, the same mess they created, they're going to now target this new administration or whatever, whichever new administration, and demand and hurry them into fixing the mess that they created themselves. We're going to see a lot of that because we know it's Papi Show and Maji, you take a fella. And then they're going to pretend they didn't know anything about it, their hands are clean. I know if, let's take the other call. Good afternoon.
Hey, Tresha, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
Yeah, Tresha, most of the time when I call, you know, is because I tell myself maybe I don't understand so what's going on, and you know, maybe you can give me a better understanding of what's happening. This question being posed, I saw a posting by Rene Prudent, and he's asking the question about something to the effect that whether it was an arrangement with some developer, you know, before elections or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah, he asked the question. He did.
Okay, so whatever is happening there, I take it that it didn't happen before general elections. It didn't happen after the general election.
Mm-hmm.
So who really took the decision? Who gave the go-ahead to do what is going on there right now? But I'm just asking a question because, like I said, maybe I don't understand it. But the impression I'm getting is like it is the new administration who gave the go-ahead, and, you know, they are questioning.
But it cannot be that because it was approved in March. So if anybody had whatever dealings, it had to be, say, Spider, toutes ces dealings like the businessy building on the beach for his son and all the others that he's doing.
Asking all kinds of questions, posting all kinds of questions to the present parliamentary representative, whereas it's not even a month yet since he was elected. And I am certainly sure, I am confident that Kenson Kazimi is going to see into what's going on there. I am confident of that. Mm-hmm. You know? So this kind of behavior by Minerva Ward and Rene Prudent, asking all kinds of questions like as though, you know, it is the doing of the present parliamentary representative. I don't get it.
Because there's nothing to get. There's nothing to get to.
You know, and I think these people need to really settle down and see how best they can reorganize themselves instead of behaving that kind of way, you know. I don't know who's going to buy into that, you know. Premier bagay pou yo fè apre se gade pou reorganize UWP pou wè si yo sa ni pièce kind of credence, you know, some kind of relevance that people may see whether they can embrace them. But other than that, all the questions they're asking right now is irrelevant, according to some past parliamentarian, irrelevant detail. Thank you very much, Tresha.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I think we are getting to a point where people are going to use certain words like patrimony and, you know, love for country and all of that. Now, only now, And I think not only is it insincere, it's disrespectful. And for some people, maybe it might work, but Minerva Ward is, to me, a non-entity. She is just, you know, another one of those hacks who trying to find their way and to really show, you know, that they are loyal no matter what. So maybe when the time comes, you'll remember, or the people that when they give in the little crumbs in a bag, just so they could, you know, always be there. Rene Prudent himself. But all of these people, they're just names. There are people like them. They're almost like interchangeable in character. But what I want us to be aware of is the tactic that is being used here. It continues to be, you will always be on the defense when people who create a mess will want you to fix it, and fix it in the way that they want, in the time that they want. And I think it is unfair, but hey, this is what we've seen with people like that, and I will have to get used to it, and clearly so will you. We've come to the end of the show. I think I want to thank all of you for watching. As always, we will continue to speak on so many of the different issues. We will keep you updated on what's going on with that situation in Gros Islet. And as for what it means when it's that close to the beach, what it means when it's that close to the tower, Queen's Chain, and all of that, we continue to really delve into that, because it is, I think it is an issue where we have to look at where we're going to have the no-build zones, and these are serious conversations that we need to have. But as for the blame game that these people are playing, I don't have the time for it. There is no place for it, and I want us to be put on guard that this is what's going to happen in the months, in the years to come. And already I'm exhausted, but hey, somebody has to do it, and I think it really is on us to be the gods of that. And with that, I want to say thank you guys. I hope to see you tomorrow at 11 same time, where we can discuss so many of the different issues. Until then, though, I want you to have a really, really good day, and maybe it's still going on. Right after that, I'm going to look at it, the opening of Parliament today. Yeah, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.
I can't stay.